Yo, what's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint. We're here live on a special new segment called Gem and Friends. I kind of been promoting this segment a little bit. I talk to like mad collectors every day on a daily basis, and in all different aspects. So I got guys that buy collections, that flip CGC books, that collect statues, that own comic shops, that run comic shops. So I'm like, damn, the conversations we have are good. I'm thinking I wish other people could like be a fly on the wall for these conversations. So that's kind of how this idea came about. Right now, I'm live with my man from Instagram, Very Gary Comics. Say what's up to the people, Gary.
What's up, everybody?
I was gonna mess with
chat. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna mess with you and say we got Blake from Workaholics with us. But
no, my hair's not out.
So yeah, I didn't go with it. But yeah, man, we had some people waiting in the chat. Shout out to Supers Kelly's, my man Ford Girelli, College Collector. You got the chat going there, Gary?
Yes, I do. Yep.
All right, what else is going on?
I see Glenn, Mr. Mulligan, K-Dog.
Yeah, shout him out. Everett's in the building.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
You get a lot of Instagrammers on here?
I don't think so, man. That's funny because like Instagram is where I kind of started with the community, right? But when I started the YouTube channel, I don't feel like a lot of the IG people really carried over. Even just recently, Arrow's been watching and shit like that, right? But I think it's a lot of statue guys and a lot of omnibus guys from Facebook and stuff like that.
There's Four-Eyed Hero. Yeah, that's an Instagrammer right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Ford says no IG for him. All right, so
people know about the FF5. Three men in a basement. Is that TVO?
No, that's Everett Otto.
Oh, Everett. All right. I think he's right in Connecticut.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah. He's in the Northeast for sure.
Yep.
All right, so and then the chat's gonna be firing off questions and stuff too. So maybe if you catch something, you can let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we got a healthy little turnout so far. 50 viewers in the chat. I know it's the playoffs tonight, but catch the highlights. Fuck all that.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just basketball.
Oh, Ford is in Connecticut too, man. All right, anyway, so fuck all that. So my man Gary. So Gary is into buying collections.
Absolutely, 100%.
You guys can see the title of the show. That's something that I've always been intrigued with, but I'm always kind of scared to do it. Like, and I've asked you personally a bunch of times, like, how do you know what to even offer when you look at these collections, man? So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's fun, man. You got to get into it. You have to.
I can see, but I don't know. I feel like I'll end up with like warehouses full of comic books. I think that's how it ends up getting, right?
It's 100%. That's how it ends up getting. I'm lucky because I actually have a guy up in Albany, since we're talking about New York, Connecticut, who buys all the stuff I don't want.
Oh,
everything.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter what it is. He takes it all. So I think the last batch I just sold him was like, God, I want to say it was like 40 something shorts and like 20 something longs. Took him 2 trips, took it all.
So to let these guys know what we have in store, you do have 2 small collections that you're going to show everybody, and you're going to break it down, how much you paid for the collection, how you found it, what do you think you can get out of it. So everyone stay tuned, because that to me is like the most interesting part, right?
Yeah.
And it really ties back into like the number one question I get asked is, how do you afford things? What do you do for a living? And I always kind of preach, like, if you're a collector, collecting should pay for itself. So this is a perfect example of how you do that, right? So we're going to get into it. First thing I want to ask you, though, Very Gary. First of all, explain the name Very Gary for me, because I never knew where it came from. How Gary is he?
He's very Gary. No, actually, it was my wife that came up with that, because I was so the way this whole thing started, it's kind of embarrassing. So the way this whole thing started was it's got to be like 3 years ago. This is not even a comic thing. I wanted to do YouTube videos, and I wanted to do those subscription box openings, the Loot Crate and all those silly things. So I said, all right, I need a good name, right? Gem Mint was taken at the time, so I needed a good name, and it was a good buddy of mine's daughter's first birthday. And my wife and I were throwing ideas back and forth, and she said that. And then I had another buddy who was like, that's what it's got to be.
Very Gary.
That's it. Yeah.
So when I first met you on Instagram and I would hear your name, in my mind, I was always like, Very Gary. I don't know. I just always said it like weird like that. All right. So nobody cares about this, right? So basically the collections. How do you come across these collections? Like, break it down for us.
All right. So there's several ways I do it, but the most important and the biggest I'll talk about. The other ones don't matter.
Okay.
I'm very, 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 very lucky because my local comic shop, it's very small. It's a one-man organization. It's one guy. He does it all, opening to closing, buying, selling. He does everything. He has no staff. So when people come in there with collections, unless they're walking in there with a dozen or 2 dozen books, he calls me.
Wow.
He flips everything to me. He gives me their information. He says, just tell them you're working for me and go handle it. And then what I do is I just give him some books as a finder's fee.
So what you're saying that he's just so busy that he can't even deal with it all?
Yeah, he gets a lot of weekly books in, man. He doesn't have just 20, 30 titles. He must have 50 titles a week coming in. He gets a lot of stuff. So between that, Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just him. Yeah, it doesn't pay for him. For him, you know what it is? It's low risk, low reward. So he sends everything to me. He doesn't have to handle with it. And I give him books. I do all the work and I give him a few books. You know, the bigger the collection, the better the books I give him.
So that's a pretty unique scenario. Not everybody has that, but you didn't have it at one point either. You got to build relationships with your comic shop, and you never know what could happen, right?
Yeah, I've been with him though, because I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe 15 years ago, like a long time ago, and I was going to him for everything: comics, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and just we've had a 15-year relationship. And I got back into comics during the New 52 during the Batman run.
Same with Manimal, yeah.
Yep, and that because Snyder and Capullo are ridiculous. So with that, he was putting stuff aside for me, and then slowly but surely, it just grew into this. He said, "Hey, you want to buy stuff?" And and
you've been doing. How long have you been doing it for?
God, I think like 2.5, 3 years now. I mean, nice. I've been reading forever. I mean, I think we all read the '90s X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah. Right? So, grew up on that. Yeah,
exactly. So. Between all that, I would say probably reading hard since the New 52, but only into this.
The collection flipping like a couple, 2-3 years. So, besides having an inside plug like that, do you do the Craigslist thing? Do you drop that knowledge?
I try to do Craigslist, but I think that's a tapped resource, man.
Yeah.
I've tried the Let It Go app, and people try to sell like Wolverine 12 for $100. Like it's ridiculous, and it's just it's all from the comic shop. And I know that is just, it's kind of weak to say because not everybody has that luxury, but it's mostly that. And it's appreciative. Like I hooked this dude out.
Yeah. That's not, you got to find your niche, man. So damn, you found it. What other ways are there? So yeah, Craigslist is a tab resource. Everybody knows to look there, right?
Yep.
Is there anything else to find these kind of collections?
Tag sales are a big one. Flea markets are a big one. So I haven't been out. By me, I don't know if anybody's local where I am, but Stormville Flea Market's a huge, huge thing. And I've gone there. Me and my cousin go there. Last year, we went to every one. First day, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I found some great stuff.
I think you've posted it because we're in a group DM on Instagram with like, what is there, like 7, 8 of us in there?
Yeah, it's fairly small.
A couple of them in the chat. I think I saw Butch is in the chat.
Oh, nice.
I'm surprised Arrow's not here. Fucking guy. Of course, my moderator, Mike Spina, is nowhere to be found, but it's all good. Yo, we had like 68 viewers in the chat. Shout out to the Gemini's. I didn't really shout everybody out. We got Shady's in the building, Bryce Dunlaps, Schubert, Rivas, Kay Hall. Who we missing? Is that everybody? All right. So anyway,
Manimal in here? I wanted to see McGregor over here, but I don't know if he's in the chat.
Nah, I don't know what he might be watching basketball.
Oh,
Tax in this thing, Iron. All right. So anyway, let's break it down. You get the call. Ding. Hey, Very Gary. Oh, Manimal's here. Ant's in the building. He says, Gary, I got a hot one. Go check out so and so. Here's the number. Here's the info. And then boom, what do? You take off and how's it go?
I'll be 100% honest with you. I run things by my wife because our schedules aren't great. If she says, "Yeah, you're free Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be home," I say, "Okay." That's it. And then I make the call, and as soon as I can get there, I get there, because people get impatient.
No, people, yeah. So other people start picking the shit and all.
100%. So if somebody calls my comic shop looking to sell a collection, if I don't act quick, who's going to stop them from calling another comic shop on the other side of the river by me? You know, there's 3 or 4 big ones by me, so I have to act quick.
So all right, so you guys plan it out. Wife's got the baby. I know you got a 10-month-old daughter, right?
20. Yep.
20 months. Okay. Congratulations, by the way. Well, actually,
thanks.
20 months. I remember when you just had the baby, man. Shit.
Yeah, it was during New York Comic Con.
Damn. So you get the logistics worked out. When you go to the scene, I don't know, what is it like? Because you don't know what they have. You don't know how many boxes. You don't know what to expect.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's like treasure hunting. It's like modern day treasure hunting. And then what I've learned too, man, is no matter what they tell you, 9 times out of 10 they're wrong.
Right.
They are wrong, because I've had a woman call me, say she has books from the 40s and 50s. I'm like, all right.
And X-Force ones.
Yeah, dude, you don't know how many X-Forces I have.
I saw you just posted like 10 of them, right?
Oh yeah, no, I think there was 17.
Damn.
But a lot of people don't know what they have, and the people that really do want astronomical amounts of money for it.
Yeah, like what's with that? Even eBay, like big slabs, they always want higher than the last highest sale. Like, damn, what's with that? Like a couple months ago, you would have been happy with this, but now all of a sudden, you got to have the highest. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I've had people ask me too why my prices are so good. Not to like pat myself on the back, but I keep telling people the same 2 things. Number one, I'm not trying to run a museum. I don't need to have books on my wall that I want to sell for double GPA. And number 2 is, if I can buy it for the right price, and that's the goal, right? To buy it for the right price, I can sell it for the right price. I'm not living on this, you know. It's just
you're in the business to get shit out, move it in and out, right?
Yeah, flip. Yep.
So let me ask you this: you want to talk about your current collection purchases? They're nothing huge, or do you want to talk about like the best one that you've ever had? Which one do you want to go for?
Whatever you want to do. You call it.
Let's save the books for last. So what's the biggest? I guess we want to call it fine that you've had for doing this last few years. Okay,
so I've had two monster collections I've picked up. All right, so one, which one should I go first? All right, we'll do the Fantastic Four. I picked up a Fantastic Four run, which was given to me from the comic shop. Right. And the thing that kills me about this one is this dude walked in there with the good keys from the Fantastic Four run that he had. He had the number 1, but it was the Golden Records. You knew. I
remember when you were showing us this haul. Yeah.
This dude had.
Did I tell you that it was the Golden Record? Or did you know before I said that?
You did. I didn't pop it out of the sleeve yet, and I never gave him an offer yet before I was talking to everybody in the group.
I spotted it right away because
no 10-cent sign.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had both. And I learned that one, not the hard way, but my comic shop had one in a long box. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, nah, it's the Golden Record. It has no money sign. Anyway, so that was in there. But what were the other FF books that were in there?
So he had for FF1 Golden Records. He had first Puppet Master. He had first Silver Surfer Galactus.
So that's like 8, and then what, 8, 48, 49?
Yep. He had 48, 50, 52. First Black Panther with you. Right. Actually, that's the one I sent you.
So and then you sent that to CGC.
I had a cleaned press, sent it to CGC.
We'll talk about that. All right, but these are all raw books right now. You got that.
All raw. Everything was raw. And then the big boy out of there was the FF5, the first Doctor Doom.
The Doctor Doom. So this guy, it was
pretty. It was pretty, man. It looked good.
But that's not the one that came back restored, is it?
It did. It came back a 6.0 restored with a small amount of glue on the spine.
Which you could probably just cut out and be all right. But we'll talk about that in a second. But hold on. We're not done yet. So these are just the keys. But how many more FF books were there?
Oh, no. There was, I would say out of the first 100 issues, there must have been 60 to 65 of 1 through 100. 1 through
Silver
100.
Age. Fantastic Four with those keys in there. So you're
first
flipping through
Humans first. Yeah, it was full, dude. First in Human. I wasn't missing any major keys except the Watcher and number 1.
Damn.
And maybe the Namor. What's that?
Did you have 2? Because that's the Scrolls book, right?
No. 1, 2, 3, and 4 weren't in there.
Okay, but
and then after that, all the major keys but Watcher were in there. In Humans, what was the
46 and 48.
Four. Yeah, the Frightful Four, Inhumans, Black Bolt was in there. Like,
what about 36? Isn't 36 the Medusa book?
That was in there. Yep.
So anyway, so you're flipping through these books in your mind. You're like, holy shit, like, right? Like flipping through.
Yeah, but the crazy part about this particular collection is this dude legit handed me everything. Stuff was in a duffel bag and in a tote bag. Came to my house, handed everything to me, and said, "All right, I'm gonna go to a poker tournament. You look through everything, let me know, and I'll be back in a little while." I said,
you would think a guy playing poker, a money involved game, would have a little bit better idea of the value of things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing too that kills me is like not only did it have all these FFs in there, like a ton. He in the tote bag had like Nova #1, Miss Marvel #1, Hulk 180, two of them. Just random keys. First Godzilla, what's that? Godzilla #1.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't big books. Well, the 180 is, but you know, the first, what is that? Red Dinosaur. The dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur. I mean, we're talking about $25 books here, but those add up quick.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Remind me, Instagram Live. We'll talk about it later. So, this guy, where do you think he got these books? Though they don't sound like they were his.
They were his. Yeah, he was a big
just bought
FF
them,
fan.
and he just bought them maybe when they came out or whatever.
He bought them actually from a comic book shop that had gone out of business since then. He was a big Fantastic Four. Like, yeah, he had 60 to 65 of the first 100 books, but this dude had like 100 through 400 straight, like full runs. Then the one, it's one book out of there I was hoping to get, only for personally, I wanted to find it, is the first Annihilus. I think it's an annual.
Oh, yeah. I'm not familiar with it.
It's like annual 2 or 3, and that wasn't in there, but all the big ones were. I mean, once I saw the Doom, I was sold. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, for sure. That might be a hot book, though, that Annihilus, because if they have to make another big bad for the MCU, that book might take off.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find it, man. Trust me, the hunt's on.
So this is my biggest thing, right? So you're seeing all these books, massive amount of keys. Do you make him an offer? Does he say what he wants? Where do we go from here?
The nice thing about having the comic shop is he told the comic shop owner told this guy that I'm trustworthy, which I am. I'm honest, which I am. And so whatever I threw at this guy, he was going to be happy with. So I got it. I got it at a good price. What I thought was good. He was happy. So I always say, like, if both parties are happy with the deal, it's good. We're good to go.
So do you look at condition, and do you check Overstreet to get an idea of the value, or GPA? Or
I'm checking GPA. I'm checking eBay sales based on condition. And at this point, it's just I've been doing this long enough where you kind of numbers are rattling in your head as you're flipping through.
Right.
All right.
So and that's how I am with CGC books. I could do that, but with raw books, it's a lot harder. I mean, I can probably estimate within a few grade points, but restoration gets harder, especially what type, And
that one I missed, the restoration. But I mean, a small amount of glue, I still can't see it. Like it says small amount of glue on spine. It's graded.
You got to put a black light on it or something.
I'm going to have to because I couldn't see it. I'm probably going to get it removed.
So let me ask you, right? So what do you offer? Like 40% of what you think you could sell it for? Like what's the good spot there? I try to do 40 to 65% of full retail, depending on the keys. Like if I find like a 181 in there, Hulk 181, or like some big Bronze Age books, I'll offer more because I know it's a lot easier to move. But like if I'm moving like a bunch of $20, $25 books, not only does it take time, I'm shipping this stuff. That costs money. Got to make it worth your while.
Yeah.
So what do you remember what the dollar amount is that he ended up taking? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer.
I do. I want to sound like a dick, but you want to know?
I do want to know.
I paid for that collection $800.
All right, so $800. You're looking in your head, FF54 alone. If it comes back a 6.0, boom, I'm in there. I broke even. Everything else is profit.
Yeah, 100%.
So the Fantastic Four 5 did come back restored at 6.0, but it's not like a huge blow. It's not like your whole flip was riding on that one book.
No, it wasn't. I actually didn't even compensate for that because I planned on keeping it. And that's another thing I do. I should have said, like when I'm looking through collections and I find a book I want to keep, I don't really compensate that into the cost because I'm not selling it. So I need to put it in my pocket.
What did that FF52 come back? A 6.0?
6.0. Cream to off-white. This is another thing too. The Doctor Doom came back, white pages, 6.0 white pages.
Man, you could literally find that speck of glue, cut it out with scissors, send it back, and then you'll get maybe a 5.5, or who knows if it's.
I'm gonna send it to CCS and have them remove it.
What was the 90 day on that FF 52?
720,
Okay,
something like that. Yeah, I had a
but
6.0.
so the keys, you do take them. You mentioned you get impressed in.
I'm just looking at. Yeah.
He said Truman said, "Goddamn, you stole that shit."
A little
Hey,
bit.
the guy don't even give a fuck. He had them in a duffel bag. He wasn't gonna
Yeah,
press and clean
they
them and
were.
grade them.
Absolutely. And then at the same time, too, and this is something that I don't think enough people do consider is like with that quantity of books, I'm not opening and looking at every book, right? So
Right.
what I find out later is that book's restored. Okay, that sucks. Also, what I found out is the Hulk 180s. I'm flipping through the Hulk 180s
Marvel
and
value stamp. Oh,
no,
okay.
worse.
Missing pages.
Missing this dude cut out the Hulk on one page of one book, and then the other one, because there was two, he cut out Wolverine on the last page.
Yeah, I mean the books that I have looked at, you look at the spine, you look at the front and the back. You're supposed to count the pages and look
You're
through.
supposed to, but
who's
yeah,
got time for that?
do that when you're looking at close to 1,000 comic books, you just can't do that.
So even though you got that collection for a killer deal, you pressed, clean, and sent that FF5 to CGC. That took time and money. Comes back restored. Now you got to put time and money into it again just to get it back. So these are the type of L's that you could take. Luckily, you did get the whole shit for a good price, and it's not going to kill you. But that's
good thing too. The FF1 was the Golden Records reprint, and I didn't compensate. Like if I compensated that as a true FF1, now I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
So if that was the Golden Records, it's a fraction of the price, right? The Doom comes back restored. Plus, you're paying for pressing, you're paying for grading, and because those books are higher value, your grading costs are higher.
So you know what? Tack just said he would love to see that FF book. You still there? Okay. Now I'm gonna. Yeah. You have it. I was gonna pull it up off your Instagram, but if you have it, shit.
Yeah, I can grab it. Hold on. Give me two. It's like right here. My cord won't reach. Hold on.
All right, cool. And while he's doing that, let's try to catch up with the chat here. Mo's Comics, what's going on? Antho Garlo. Yeah, the Doom alone, if it was even restored, because you're already pretty much in profit once you just move one of those books. Let me put this.
Yeah, there's a glare, but there you go. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's still profit to be made here. There's still,
even if you sold it restored.
If I sold it restored, it's probably what, half a GPA at a Blue Label.
What's the Blue Label 6 run?
4,000.
Oh, you're good. Holy shit!
But still, man, that Purple Label looks so ugly compared to the blue.
It's the Purple Label of death. That's one of the things that I like about CBCS. Their restored labels are not like, this is a restored book. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's subtle with it.
Yep. Yeah, they're still blue.
So, Ford Jarelli saying he might have to talk with this guy. I have 40, 50 long boxes I want to move. Holy shit.
Where are you, man? Always looking.
I like what you do also with like your regular books. Like you'll have $10 books, $20 books, and you've kind of really been successful with doing live auctions on Instagram.
Dude, yeah, the live sales have been phenomenal, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how many, like we were talking before, I don't know how many of these people are from Instagram, but the live sales that I've been doing have been amazing. I mean, I've gotten phenomenal feedback from people. People have fun. People spend, even the guys are spending like $20, $30 on.
I watch the shit and I don't even buy anything. I just like to see it go down, man.
Yeah, the last one we had 50 to 60 people in there constantly for 2.5 hours.
So the live auctions, I've been seeing them a lot. Like I've seen them on Facebook, and on Facebook it's really good because people start sharing the live video and it starts spreading. I've seen like my man TiVo does live auctions on YouTube, but you're on IG. You're the guy on IG, and that shit is fun to watch, man.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is doing it on Instagram, which is nice.
Undisputed Frost. Instagram is IG is Instagram. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some people are definitely not coming here from IG, but let's look at the. You have a little collection. You bought this one like last weekend or something like that.
This real tiny one I bought like 2 days ago. There's nothing really that special in here, but I paid $15 for it.
Okay, so let's look at the $15 haul because this is good for people who want to get into flipping books or buying and selling books. I'm gonna lock the camera on you, and you can just get an idea of how you could flip, right? So $15. What was in the little
$15?
haul?
Yeah, I mean that's really good too. You brought that up. Like you don't need to spend thousands of dollars. Man.
That's what I'm
saying. You could do this real small. I mean, you can't start at the top, right? You spend $100 here, $100 there, and before you know it, you're starting to drop $400, $500, $600 on bigger collections. Mm-hmm. But this is kind of exactly where I started.
All right.
I spent $15 to $40.
So, and you'll still do the little $50 flips.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with the live sales, it works great because I'll spend $15 here, and all I picked up here were $5 and $10 books. I'm not gonna lie to you, but they're great for the live sales, and there's a couple keys in here, so it worked out great.
Let's see it.
All right, so here's the first one. I actually don't know too much about this book.
Tag says pulls out Amazing Fantasy 15.
I have yet to see an AF 15 live. I have not seen it.
So hold on, wait a minute. So $15. How many books are we gonna see?
We're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. He was doing
even if you sold everything for like $3 or $4, like you're gonna get your money back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Right, so
and again, it's good for the live sales because people like the $5 and $10 books, man. It's nice. Some people don't have the luxury of comic shops with back issues, let alone $5 and $10 books. So to drop $40, $50 during a live Instagram sale and the stuff shipped right to your house, man, it's great for people.
And it's good impulse buy. Some shit they never even thought they wanted. But no, so let's look at the first book. Happened to be an old ass book.
It's a 10-cent cover. I don't know anything about this book, but it was a 10-cent cover in halfway decent condition called Space Adventures. I have no clue. And if anyone knows anything about this book, it would be appreciated. But I have no clue what it is.
And all the other books are shit that we do know. It just happens.
We don't know everything else. Yeah, it was just that
10-cent book means it's got to be for, like older than 1961, I think, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's pre-60, 60, 61, somewhere in there. It might even be 59, some of them. But anyway, that's whatever, $3 for 10 cent. Somebody could spend $5 on that and be happy and say, this is the oldest book I own. And I don't even know how old that is.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of these we're going to know. So these are like little $5 books. And this is a great book too. Just because, well, now what's going on here?
Chris M said, "I'll take it."
See, so and these are great too. I always pick up these books because they're perfect for just putting your little runs together.
Yeah,
it's just Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, Infinity Gauntlet number 6. There's nothing. It's a little $5 book, but it's great because when you put this whole 6 book, this run I think is like $100 run.
Yeah, I used to when I was doing. I don't know if you remember me when I used to sell lots and stuff like that. I would put together mini series like Infinity, whatever was hot. Civil War was hot at one time. Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War. Then one time I put every Infinity Gauntlet, War, Crusade together.
Yeah, actually, a big collection I bought not too long ago, which we're not going to go through because it was crazy. I think it was something like 20 shorts, but it had all of them right in a row: Crusade, War, Gauntlet, all together, all in great condition too. But so I picked up this again, little $5 book. People love putting these together too. The 25th anniversary Marvel books.
Yeah. To get that whole, that's funny. I wanted to put one of those together one time, but I never did.
Yeah, and then Frank Miller Batman Year One again, miniseries. This is another. It's like a $40 run, I think. If you have,
and then it's kind of cool because like, you put it to the side if you don't sell it, and you kind of like on the lookout for a number 3 and number 2.
All. Yeah, that's all. And then these last 2 books are a little bit bigger keys, but they're not big books. So this is the first Nebula, who, nice. I mean, spoiler alert, she's the one of 2 Guardians left, right?
Yeah,
in the movies, like that's it.
Yeah.
And then this one, which is always a fan favorite, and I believe this is a newsstand. People like that too. Yeah. Again, these are little $10 books that'll add up. You do this 4 or 5 times at $15 a piece, you walk away happy.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned in the chat, like, hey, I never really sold my stuff. I always just kept it. Yeah, and I get that. But, like, some people don't really have the funds to buy whatever they want and keep it. Some people got to, like, I had to find a way to get extra money. I didn't when I started collecting a couple years back, I didn't have the money to just buy every omnibus. I had to start flipping. And that's how I got into this.
100%. And that's exactly how I did. Like, I don't think you can see behind me, but, I have some bigger books here. And the only reason it happened was because of this.
What I used to do is every weekend in South Florida, I would drive and hit every local comic shop within like this little radius that I had. It would be like 5 or 6 shops. And I would dig through all the issues and put together Infinity Gauntlet sets, X Factor, Deadpool appearance sets, and just shit like that. And it was really successful. All right, so that's the very small thing. $15. You're probably going to get $60 out of that or something like that.
Best case scenario is probably like $50 maybe.
50 profit or all
altogether.
Yeah.
But again, it's and all that was running through my head is the live sale. I'm like, Omega Red, that's $10 easy. People love it. It's a newsstand. The Nebula, it's a book you don't see too often, and it's also not that expensive. But
I wouldn't have even been able to tell you her first appearance off the top of my head. So that's
See, And that's something you get good at too, man. You get real good at that.
I'm pretty good at it, but Nebula was never on my radar. But it's funny, that book was probably never worth shit. But now, because of her popularity, I'm sure in a 9.8, it's going for a few $100.
It could be, yeah, because it's not a new book, you know. And just like when the movie, just when Infinity War came out, right? The Thor, that annual
the Hela book
6, annual 6. I forgot the dude, the Peter Dinklage character, the dwarf.
Oh yeah.
So the Thor annual book, that went from $1 book to I don't know what it is now, $25. And the same thing with Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
That was just the third appearance of Beta Ray. Now that's like a $20 book. So
the thing with these movie books, you got to learn that you can't sit on them too long though, because I bet you those books are already starting to go down.
They are. I mean, the first Doctor Doom will be up forever. That's not going anywhere. The first Thor, Loki, all those are grails. But when you talk about these little guys, they're quick. Nebula, come on. As soon as this phase is over, if she dies or goes away, that book's going to be $1 book again.
Manimal's out here chat hustling. I think what do we sell? How's the Road to X-Men 1 looking, brother?
He's selling during the chat, in the chat.
A little $180 sale. Nice. So 85 Geminites in the chat. Shout out to the Geminites who tuned in, even though it's the game. What is it, game 2 tonight or some shit?
Game 2. J.R. Smith, everyone's watching him tonight.
So that's not the good stuff. So that was your small little
that was
clip.
A little thing that just happened I got a call on Saturday. What's today? So yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little nothing thing. It was 15 minutes away.
What's the one that you hit me up about like a week and a half ago? You're like, Jem, I got this little $200 collection. I think this will be a good thing to come on the show because I had mentioned doing this with you before.
Yep.
So break this collection down real quick.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
There we go. I thought we froze. Yeah, no, this next one, this I spent $100 on. And as soon as I walked in, man, this dude was moving to Arizona. He was wasted. I think he was pretty high too. I think he put that shit away. I have another good story. Remind me after this about that because I have the biggest collection I ever picked up. I picked up off a dude who was selling coke in the 80s and shit. He told me this whole story.
You gotta bring it up. You gotta bring it back.
Yeah. So as soon as I walk in, this guy has barely any furniture. He's just got a pile of tools on the side and everything is gone. And this guy goes, I'm moving to Arizona like tomorrow. I'm going to go. So this is what I have. I said, okay. So I walk up to 2 old school Budweiser cases, like they look like cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
Just, and I'm like, shit, what the hell is going to be in here? And the first thing I saw, as soon as I saw this book, I said, all right, I'm going home with these books. I don't care. It's just a personal book that I want for myself was Raphael #1. I never had this book ever. And it does need a clean and a press, and it'll probably come back like a 8.0.
First Casey Jones.
First Casey Jones. Yeah, and I've never found this book in the wild. I've never owned this book except for a second print, which is a nice book. It has that wraparound cover. You ever see the second print?
But it's a different cover altogether, right?
Different cover altogether. It's all colored. It's not like the red and the black. It's a wraparound cover, and it's a fraction of the price of this one.
I'm sure I've seen it. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah. So
and what's that book go for? What condition?
It's probably like $100 book. I would say it's like an 8.0. It's probably like $100 to $150 book. But again, that's for me, man. That's not going anywhere. I'm a big Turtles guy. I'm a Raphael fan. That's gonna stay with me.
So JB's is asking, do you look through the boxes if it's like more than 40 boxes, or would you even pick up? You would look through everything.
Every single book I'm looking through.
And you got a big scratch paper with you writing down what you think the value is.
No, it's all just running numbers.
15, 20, I could get this for 30, and then you get a total number and say, okay, I can get 15 grand. I'm gonna offer to 7.
700. No, no, yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like honestly, if you bring 5 guys on and do this with 5 different guys who do what I do, you're probably gonna get 5 different answers. But what I do is I'm looking through for the major keys. So anything over $20, I'm looking at.
All right, so what else? Raphael wasn't the only book in that haul.
That was not the only book in that haul. No, but that was the one that caught my eye. It was right on top, and I'm like, all right, I'm going home. I'm coming home with this. So it was 200 books.
200 books.
200 books for $100, almost to the single book. It was like 198 or something like that.
Right.
And again, some of these books aren't that big of a deal, but they add up. So anytime I find McFarlane Hulk, books.
Yeah.
I know these are $5 a piece. Like this is McFarlane. Everyone loves McFarlane. Hulk, he was early McFarlane. Boom, $5. This is a little $5 book, not a big deal.
Usagi #1.
It's not the #1. This is like the #1. I'm waiting to find that out in the wild too.
Akira wasn't he showing up in one of those books? His first appearance.
Usagi?
Yeah.
It was his book. His first appearance, I think, is a #1. I think it's his.
I thought it was some other book. Anyway,
it might have been, but I'm still waiting for his #1 though. Like Usagi Yojimbo #1, the #1, not that. This little Vigilante #1, again, little $5 book. Nothing earth shattering. And we're gonna start getting to a little bit better stuff. More Hulk, McFarlane Hulk.
You can put it together. You could even do his whole run right on Hulk. Yeah, it's only got to be like 15 issues, I would think.
It's not much. Hulk 340 is the tough one.
Yeah,
that's the key one. Which again, if we go back to the Coke the guy selling Coke,
Gamma corrected me. It's Albedo.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I was thinking Akira. I knew it was some obscure A-lettered book.
Yeah, and that book's worth some money. So, all right. So coincidentally, and now this is why I do this. Pick up little things like this. Before we had Year 2, Part 2, Frank Miller Batman. Again, a $5 book. Yeah. Well, in this little collection, would you know, there's Part 3.
Boom.
So now there's 2.
Yeah.
So there's that. This is actually, and with everybody in the chat, you guys can correct me, but I think this is when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. I'm not positive. I'm sure somebody will say yes or no. But
Iron Cardinal says pushing comics like weight. You damn right.
Again, the little $5 books. We're gonna get into some bigger stuff.
No, that's the type book to get. I always like when I see that one in the wild.
Yep, $5. All right, now you're starting to creep into the $10 mark.
Oh, so again, that's in the family.
Yeah, I paid $100 for this. So now you're starting to creep up there with the 5s and the 10s. Now you're gonna start hitting $20 books. Punisher 1. This is like a $20 book. Punisher 1.
Doubles.
So right there, those last 3 books, there's $50 right there.
So Dylan, what is his name? Dillman Zach says, is it hard to find people to buy some of these smaller issues? I think we kind of touched on that.
Yeah, he might have missed it, but yeah, it's all about that live sale.
Yeah, live sales.
Yeah, I don't do anything on Instagram under 20 unless it's during a live sale.
So during the live sales, what do? You put like a Post-it on each book with like the value and the letter.
No. So what I do is I'll take 200. It's usually 250 books. I'll usually do $110 books and $155 books. And what I'm going to do is I'll put a Post-it note on every book, 1 through 250, numerically in order, 1 through 250, with a random letter in front. Right, and we're going to start with the $10 books. And what I do with those is you buy 5, you get 1 free. So for every $50, you're going to get $60 in books plus free shipping for your entire order.
So in the live chat, it's similar to how these guys are commenting, but everyone's going to be like claim, and you're just showing books like how you're doing now.
No, it's different than that, because the thing is the reason I put the Post-it notes on is so everybody here is in the chat, right, talking. When I show a book, and let's say it's number B6, the first person to write in B6 and send it, they claim it.
And then
it's as simple as that.
You write their name on the Post-it or some shit like that, or?
No, I have a notepad and I have everyone's names and I write the numbers down as it's going.
It's fun.
There's Arrow right there. He's been in some live sales, man.
Where can these guys find you on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah, it's Very Gary _comics.
So Very Gary is one word.
Very Gary, one word _comics. Yeah. So, and then that's where you find me. I try to do the live sales once a month. Sometimes it's, again, 20-month-old and, figuring out times. But I try to do them once a month. We just did one. What did we do? Last week, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
You got to be real quick with the trigger. Yeah, Arrow knows.
So what else? You have more books from that 200?
I do. So we're around the $20 range right now. So again, right? We had the Miller's Year 1. Right? Mm-hmm. Here's another one. Boom. This is a $20 book. So now we have 3 of the 4 pieces in 2 collections that are totally random.
Right.
All right. So everybody likes McFarlane Hulk, right? And I think everybody likes probably McFarlane Spidey a little more. So here's $298.
And that's a little bit of a key. That's his first work on ASM.
Yep. This is the first McFarlane on Spidey. So that's a big book. And now here we're getting to now we're going to start picking it up a little bit. So not only do we have the RAF, which is an easy $100 sale if you wanted to, you have all these 5s, all these 10s, 20s. You could say the ASM 298 is probably like a $40 book, right? Yeah. In a high grade. Now we're going here. Absolutely unread is Killing Joke. Boom. So now you're pushing like $75 to $100 with this.
And 9.8 is like a $200 book, right?
It is a $200 book and a 9.8, and he had.
Have you remember his shit? And he had 2. Damn.
He had 2 of them.
See me and I've done this before where I've scored books like this, and I used to send them to CGC. But like you said, sometimes if the price was right and I could make a good amount of profit just selling it raw, I'll just sell them raw like that right there. If you sold 75 and 75, that's $1.50. You made $50 profit, and you have all these other books.
Exactly. And again, with the RAF not in the equation, because that's not going anywhere, I'd rather not take the risk with CGC with this 9.8. Those are first prints,
right?
Which was important.
You can tell easily with those because the color of the text is green, and then it gets there's like 17 fucking.
There's so many.
There's like 17 prints or 13 or 17, and then they have. But it's cool to also put together a whole run of all the different prints.
Yeah, I've seen there's guys on Instagram that are putting them together in 9/8, which is not easy to do. Not easy to do.
You know what's funny is like back in the day, a second print or even like a 5th print, which was unheard of, was always looked at as worthless. It's a reprint, but now it's like it's rare. They didn't make as many of the 17th print.
Dude, you know what's a book like that is Man of Steel 18, First Doomsday. The 5th print is it's so expensive.
And when I was getting new into slabbing, I had the first 4 in 9.8s, and I was trying to get that 5th. For some reason, I don't know why I was putting that together. It's just shit that collectors do, but I never had it.
I have that little thing too. I'm trying to put the New 52 Batman run at 9/8, the whole thing.
I love all those 2nd, 3rd prints or variants of that number 1 issue too.
Yeah, the colors are a little different. But I'm 1 book away from the year 1, all 4. So we're not even done yet. So we got what 75 or $150, 200. We're over 250 right now.
Yeah, as long as you double up, you're good, and you're already past that.
That's my goal. Yeah, we're past that, and I'm not even counting the RAF. We're probably pushing $300 right now on the $100 collection.
I love.
And then
I love
the. Let's see. This is probably like a $20-$25 book. Hellblazer 1.
Which so is that the first John Constantine or
no? His first appearance is
Swamp
Thing. Yeah, but still like a $20-$25 book, and people really love this run.
Yeah.
And this one, this is a monster, not a monster, but this is a nice book. Sandman 1.
Oh yeah, is that the first appearance of Morpheus?
Yep. And it's sharp, man. Again, if I trusted CGC a little more these days, this would be going in to get graded because it is really pretty. And I don't.
What does it go for in a 9/8? It's got to be a $200 book in a 9/8.
Oh yeah, I think it's over that. Yeah, I think it's pushing 3.
Nice.
But
before you go ahead, but what you said something twice that I always was the same way. It's almost not worth it if CGC gives you that shit at 9.4.
Oh,
it's worth the same raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now you're
very hard.
Yeah,
it's very hard with those books. And what's the time length that CGC is going to hold it? 6 months.
Yeah, well, with right now, it's funny you say that because they've been good on the moderns. It's everything else that's a mess. And now with con season here, and they're going all these cons, taking in thousands of books at every convention. Like it's just going to get delayed and delayed and delayed. But CGC's been a little too inconsistent for me right now. The only way you can do that and feel a little bit more confident is do a pre-screening all at 9/8, and you send. I never did that. Books. I've done that twice, basically for the New 52 Batmans, because again, I'm trying to put that run together. Right. But then you're waiting. I think it's almost 2 months for a pre-screening for 9/8. Well, for anything really, but
see, I always hate. I would rather take the gamble because to pay just to tell me it wasn't a 9/8 and send it back is like fuck.
You're paying $5 per book that's not graded,
and shipping both ways.
And shipping both ways, and then for every book that's graded at the 9.8, you don't have to do it at a 9.8.
All right, so we got a couple of good questions, right? JB's is saying, should we pay the extra for the express with CGC?
It depends. It's only $10, and I don't think you need to do it right now with moderns because moderns is like a 2 or 3 week turnaround. It's not that bad. But with like some of the like economy or not economy, what's that other one? Valued. There's one that's like a $400 price range or a $200 price range that has like a 6-week turnaround right now. And if you're trying to flip things, you paying that extra $10 cuts it in half.
So that's my answer. If I was trying to flip, I'm paying the extra $10 to get it back as fast as possible. For RAF 1, that was for your own personal collection. It ain't really worth it.
Right, exactly. But if you're dealing with like all that stuff that I was talking about before that I got, what was that? The Mephisto. I guess we didn't talk about that, but the Mephisto, the Black Panther, all that stuff I sent you pictures of. I fast tracked all that because I wanted to just flip it. So for $10 a book, when you're talking about books that are $300, $350 plus, $10 isn't going to make a difference. You want to get it back, especially if it's on the rise.
So Johnny Uncanny said, do you get impressed at CGC as well?
Do you get them? I kind of been pressing my own books.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so CGC has their own pressing company called CCS.
Yep.
Notoriously sucked.
Yeah.
But people always kind of felt like, you know, there's certain circumstances like removing restoration, you kind of want to go through CCS.
I'm going to go through them with that, yeah.
Because if they're going to grade it, they're going to be the ones to remove the resto, right?
What they will, right. And what you could also do with, and I just found this out, with CCS, if you do restoration removal, you could actually pre-screen it. So they'll look at it and they'll tell you, number one, if they can, and number two, if it'll harm the grade significantly or not. So with that Doom, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to send it in. I'm going to pre-screen it. Yeah, 100%. That's going in. I don't know. As soon as I fill out the paperwork, I'm just lazy. It's so easy just to go to a convention and hand it to them instead of filling out the paperwork and packaging it up and mailing it out.
So and that's kind of what we were saying, John. Like, no, I don't feel like CCS will give you a higher grade. I do think that the restoration removal is safer through them.
Yeah.
But historically, their pressing services were not as good as other pressers.
No, like third party. Yeah, I've sent those guy down in Sarasota, down in Florida. He was great. What was the one that what's his name was always talking about?
Pete Cabanero?
No. Oh, was it? No, not him.
Oh no, he's on the West Coast, man.
Yeah, no. Forgot the guy's name, but he's the one who did the Doom.
Oh, Joe.
CFP.
Yeah, CFP Comics.
Yeah, he's down in Florida.
I can't remember. The good thing about Joe is that other pressers, you send them a bunch of books, and they charge you the shipping to CGC, but Joe just walked them on over.
Yeah, he drives them over, and as long as you fill out the paperwork and send all your paperwork in with it, he'll just drive it right to CGC.
That was my go-to guy as well. And then Mike DeCellis from Heroes Restoration, a lot of the guys were using him for a while, and he's really good at professional restoration. So for Girelli, he wants to pull your card real quick. What's the biggest collection that you've ever purchased?
I spent this is crazy because we've been talking about quantities. We've been talking about quantities, right? 30 long boxes, 20 shorts. I spent $2,500 on 19 books once. That was all graded. They were all graded, and none were cleaned or pressed. And I turned that into, I think, like $4,000. But again, like I invested money in some of them to clean and press. Like right now, I have out of that same collection, I have an ASM 129 graded 3.5.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
But it has a horrible, that's going to go into Joe. It has a really bad spine roll, needs a clean, needs a press. And if that 3.5, which is like a $500, GPA's at like $500 at 3.5. If I can get that all fixed up and it comes back even a 4.5, it's like $750 now for 4.5.
That's kind of like a Hulk 181. Like it's never going to go for cheap, even in a low grade. Somebody's going to want an ASM 129, so it's going to start creeping up a couple $100. Like you said, what was it, $500 book or whatever?
Yeah, it's like a $400 or $500 book. That book has not stopped since I've been doing this. The ASM 129s just keep going up.
Follow-up question from Forge. What's the most you would spend on a collection? If you knew you could double, but you got to run $5,000.
Yeah, I would do it.
You got to then we're kind of asking like, what's your reserve, which is kind of personal. You know what I mean? But like,
that's put it this way. I've never had to go into it.
There you go.
So, cool. So I've never found a collection. I've never found a collection from a true collector who is cashing out.
Yeah.
Like a high-end collector. I'm talking Silver Age stuff. No, that's never happened yet.
G-Zilla, shout out to Item Box, says hi in the chat. 93 Gemini's viewing. G-Zilla is asking a good question. I'm going to kind of expand it a little bit. Do you only do comics, or will you take carded TMNT toys or action figures or whatever?
No. The reason I've never done, I get this question a lot when I'm going to look at collections. People ask me about toys. People ask me about baseball cards. People ask me about all that stuff. I know I'm one thing at a time. You know, I can't invest 100% of my spare time into two different things. So no, I don't. I mean, not only are you in a whole nother group of customer base,
right,
but you're in a whole nother, and I'll use
Instagram market.
A whole nother market. And I'll use Instagram because the comic community on Instagram is phenomenal.
So yeah,
it's a whole nother market on Instagram to get into.
Exactly.
No,
I always found the Instagram market to be much more easygoing than like the Facebook comic market. I don't know.
I'm not even on Facebook. No.
So I started on Facebook, and I almost got turned off from the whole thing because Facebook is littered with scammers. I don't know what it is with. It's like you would think there would be more scammers on Instagram where it's not your real name, not your real picture, or whatever. But for some reason on Facebook, it's even in the statue community to this day, it's a big fucking issue.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty lucky. I mean, again, you're in the Instagram community. Like, we've been pretty lucky. Like, if something, the thing about the IG community is it's small enough where if one person screws over somebody, everyone's going to know about it.
That's true. We police ourselves pretty well.
Yeah, and it's not often you see something like that happen. It's very rare, especially now.
So Mr. L030186 said, "Hey Jem, what's up? What's going on, brother? Thanks for checking the stream." Exit 2005 is asking if I collect single issues or just omnibus. Now it is just omnibus. I kind of started with single issues, then graduated to CGC books. Then I got out of that and started getting into omnibus and statues. So that's all that I'm collecting right now. Any more books out of that haul, Gary? Or was that all?
Yeah, no, there's more.
Let's see him. Come on, man. You're holding out on us here, man.
We got Frank Miller's Dark Knight book 3.
Nice.
Right. Again.
That was another good set. Like before Batman vs Superman came out, those sets and the 9.8 sets were going for a crazy amount.
Buku bucks.
Like a couple grand or $2,000 or something.
Yeah, we had 2 of them in there. Nice. This is still the $100 collection. Book 2.
Nice.
This is probably my favorite cover.
Yeah, for sure. It's iconic.
I think book 2 is my favorite. Yeah, and then he also had book 1.
Boom.
Classic cover. So he had 1, 2, and 3 out of there, and then the last book out of there was Strange Tales 178.
Is that one of the first Warlock appearances?
Yeah. This is I think it's his first solo. I think it's his first solo. Because he was in what FF, whatever those books were, as in the Cocoon. Then he appeared in Thor. And
Alex Perez says, "Okay, I'm in for the year 1 and the Dark Knights. Let's go." Yo, we need to have a live auction on the Gem Mint Collectibles channel.
Man, we could do it.
We should do it. We could do it with you and with Manimal's books, man. Because he's trying to sell a shitload of his long boxes as well, man.
Yeah, let him do it because I don't want to step on his toes.
No, I know, but
that X-Men 1, right?
Road to X-Men 1. But I can see that it's fun. Even just you showing the books and the people interacting, it's a fun thing, man.
The live sales on Instagram are amazing. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs. I mean, there's a lot of pauses, and then there's fights too, which is always a good time.
All right, so if you guys want to see me and Manimal host our own live comic auction, throw a gem emoji up in the chat. If you're on the computer, just say, I don't know, yay. Say nay.
Sorry. There's a good question there.
Go ahead.
It says, how far would you drive for a guaranteed good collection since most of them seem to be right near you? I would drive, if I had pictures of guys' collections and stuff or girls' collections nowadays, I'd drive a few hours.
Yeah, it's for me. I know if I was flipping something, as long as I don't have to get a hotel, I'm driving.
Yeah.
If I can make it there and back, I'm good.
Yep.
All right. So we got
to. I'm not doing that for 5 books though,
No. You kind of have to have a good idea of what you're getting into.
Yep. Yo, you want me to talk to you really quick though about that dealer, the Coke?
I want to hear about the Coke dealer, Escobar. What happened to him?
Yeah. All right. So here's what happened. This dude was selling Coke in the 80s. Mm-hmm. All right. And now, all right. So let me go back a little bit. I'm at this guy's house. He has 33 long boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you could think of from the mid 80s through early 90s. 33 long boxes. And I'm flipping through every one because I want to see everything that's in there. This guy starts talking to me, and that's what a lot of these people do too. I try to make, personal conversation with people and everything. This guy tells me he was selling Coke in the 80s. He had too much money and too much Coke in the 80s. And the comic book shop, the owner was big into Coke. So he was trading them Coke for comic books. He never dropped a dime. He was just giving them bags of coke.
Damn.
And now he needed money for some reason. He's out of it now, and blah 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 blah. This collection was crazy.
But you didn't buy it though?
Oh yeah, I did.
It was 33 long boxes.
33 long boxes.
That wasn't more than 2,500.
No.
Damn.
This guy told me if I'm less than $4,000 with my offer, he's gonna burn it all. I said, all right, well, let me take a look.
Yeah.
While I'm there, he says, if it's anything less than $3,000, I'm gonna burn it all. I said, okay.
It kept getting lower and lower.
Kept getting lower. This thing bottoms out a little bit. So I said, all right. So I'm flipping through, and I'm looking disappointed because when I think too between mid 80s to early 90s, I always like to see Cables, Deadpools, Gambits, those early 90s X-Men New Mutant books, which were
what are the keys, right? Yeah, give me some.
Yeah, those are big keys. ASM 300, you have all those. Well, Taylor, it's funny you should ask that. So I'm looking through, and at the end of it, I said, all right, I can offer you $1,250 for everything. $1,250. He's like, will you do $1,500? And he goes, I'll throw in all these toys. It's like Spawn toys, and like again, I'm not into all that. You know, if he had some turtles or something which were cool, I could put somewhere. All right, mate.
Hey, Spawn toys are cool, man.
Yeah, they are. I'm just not a Spawn guy, but they are. Yeah. I'd rather have turtles than Spawn, but not hating on Spawn.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'll give you the $1,500. Keep the toys. I said, I don't even want to take them. I don't have room. Took 2 trips to get everything home. This guy had 4 ASM 298s, 3 ASM 299s, 3 ASM 200s, 300s. I'm sorry, 3 ASM 301s, and he had all the McFarlane Spider-Mans right up till the end, including 316. But here's the kicker: this dude had 5 copies of the Killing Joke first print. He had 14 copies of Hulk 340, the Wolverine. 14 copies.
I thought you said that was a hard one to find.
It is.
That's how it wasn't.
That wasn't even the best. The best thing that came out of there was an ASM 129, which I ended up sending to CGC after a clean and a press, and it came back with a 9.0 white pages.
Damn. So 9.0 white pages. But I remember, is this when you had is it because you kept it?
Yeah, no, you moved that one.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That
how much did it go for? I don't remember.
It GPA'd at 1,900.
But now it's probably more, no?
It might be. That book doesn't go down, man. That book
so let me. What the fuck was it? Oh, is that when you had all those lower grade ASM 300 CGCs?
That 3 of them came out of there. Yeah, I had 6 ASM 300s, all graded between like 6.5 and a 9.6.
But right now, those would have been crazy too. I think at the time, I don't know if the Venom hype was real.
It wasn't yet. No. If I held them, I would have made more. But again, it's about moving it, flipping it.
Yeah, so that happened to me too, man. I sold my AF-15 1.5 too early. Like it had just sold for like $2,000 more than I bought it for, but I couldn't get anybody to budge on that price. I ended up selling it and breaking even. And then like a year later, the Tom Holland news came through, and it started selling for like $4 or $5 more than what I had into it or whatever at the time. But I hate that's the thing about comics. Like you got to flip them fast, but then sometimes you look back and you're like, fuck, if I would have held on to those books right now, they're going for crazy money.
Yeah.
Every Hulk 181 always goes up.
Always. G-Zill has a good question, and the answer is no. Have you ever been bait and switched on a house call? No. People don't know what they have, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, again, I had a woman tell me she has books from the 40s and 50s, and I go there, and it's like Silver Surfer from the 90s. And I'm like, you know, I even asked her, I'm like, well, what's the price on the cover say?
Yeah.
So.
$1.50, like, man.
Yeah, it's exactly. I'm like, what titles do you have? Hoping to see X-Men, New Mutants, and stuff like that. But hey, that guy was a coke dealer. All right, so I don't feel bad about that one. I don't feel bad because I have other stories too where I like paid more and where I gave people a lot. Like I broke even on an older woman. It was her husband's books, all 60s Marvel, good stuff, mid to late 60s. No like early FFs or ASMs or anything. And her husband passed away, and she was looking to sell her comic books, and she was just hoping to get a mortgage payment. And I paid her mortgage that month, and I broke even. I mean, there's that stuff too. Like,
yeah, there was another story that you had where the lady was going to take some stupid low money, and you gave her more. You said, "I can't do that. I got to give you $500 or something." Like that.
Yeah. That her again. I kind of am a sucker for women and lost family members.
Yeah.
It was her father's books. He died a year ago. She was up here from Texas, cleaning out the storage unit, and she called my comic shop, and it happened to be free comic book day. So he was way too busy, and he just flipped it to me, and she wanted like $150 or something, or $200, and I'm like, I can't do that. So it's there's Okay with Loke. No, he did not OD on coke. Yeah, you know Okay with.
Oh, right? Yeah, Justin Loke, sure.
Yeah.
So Heartslide, real quick, let me answer his omnibus question. He just got his first omnibus, Fourth World omnibus by Jack Kirby, and the first run of them had a missing page, and in stock trades, I think through DC was if you sent back the cover that you ripped off of the hardcover, they'll send you a replacement book. I never did that. I said, fuck it, I'll just keep the book with the missing page. I'm not dealing with all that bullshit. The same thing just happened with BPRD Hell on Earth Volume 2, but because it's a smaller book, they're just shipping a free one in with your next order.
That's nice. A lot of these companies will take care of you, man.
Yeah. So, damn, I really enjoyed the segment. So we went an hour. We got 85 people in the chat, but I like this segment. I have a couple other guys that I deal with. Like, I want to get my man Frank from IG, always collecting. We'll talk statues because me and him talk each other into or out of buying stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll hit him out like, Frank, what do you think about this Iron Studios Punisher? And he'll be like, do it. You know what I mean? I usually hit him up when I want somebody to tell me to buy something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for someone to say, just do it, Jem. You got it. Da, 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 da. And every now and then, though, we'll tell each other, like, I'm not really feeling that piece. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was trying to get you to talk me into it. Anyway, that's one. I got my man True Dan on the line. Crazy high-grade collector. You know my man True Dan.
Oh, yeah. He does a lot of art, too. Doesn't he original art?
I think he dabbles. I think Jay Wynn.
Rue Marv?
RK Marv.
Yeah, he does a lot of original art.
Yeah, and I got another guy, Captain Shipwreck. My man Dylan does original art. He goes heavy into original art, and Jay Wynn as well. So I'm going to keep doing these and kind of filter out, these people like Gary that I talk to all the time. And like I said, everybody has their own little niche of the hobby. So I'm going to kind of try to spread it out so it's different shit.
Isn't that a beautiful thing about this hobby, though? There's so many avenues you could take, whether you read or you're just doing it for the art or the statues or slabs or just putting runs together or just original art. Like, there's so many different directions you can go.
Toys or statues or video games or movies.
Oh, man, I wanted to tell you this, too. You might be excited / proud, but I have just pre-ordered my first major statue.
Which one did you go with? Because you called me about it.
Yeah, who do you think?
I think you went with the Prime 1 Batman.
The Hush.
The Hush, yeah.
The Hush Batman, yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I just did that. I'm excited.
So, Dan, you don't even have a quarter scale piece, and you just ordered a 1/3 scale. That shit is going to be big as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going. I'm looking around. Cool. I have no idea.
So you're in a new house. You just bought the house recently, right?
Yeah, we've been in here since the middle of December, and like, moving sucks, and only an idiot moves 2 weeks before Christmas. But I finally started putting my room together. It's very, very slow. It's going very
so that's
slow.
What we're looking at. This is going to be like your man cave area, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I still need a couch, man. I don't have my real TV in here. I got to get a real TV. I want to get some more original art. So there's a lot still to do.
Gotta start flipping some comics, brother.
Yeah, I know. Anyone want a Warlock?
So hit my man up. If you're on Instagram, he's very Gary _comics.
Yeah.
You have shit for sale on your page all the time too, no?
All the time. Right now, I think you have to scroll down a little bit because I've been obviously busy, and I kind of had that live sale going. Oh, and then I think I saw somebody else ask if I had a shop. I don't have a shop, but one thing I did want to let everyone know. I don't know if I'm talking to IGers usually, so this is like a whole different crowd. Right. But I just literally officially signed up for Terrificon to be a vendor.
Oh yeah, damn! Good. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, that's out in Mohegan Sun, Connecticut. I mean, it's the guest list is out. Did you get a chance to look at the guest list? It's outstanding.
So, and I'm talking to Manimal directly, so hopefully he's still here. Terrificon is like a ballroom set up in a casino, right?
Yeah,
huge room, but it's got a massive amount of creators, which is who we really want to interview. Fucking Ford Jarelli's gonna be there. My man Ford Comics is out there. We got to get out there, and Gary is gonna have a big booth. You said you're gonna give us a corner of the booth.
Yeah,
right?
I'll give you. We'll figure if you guys want to come out there. We'll finagle something. I'm locked in for a 20-foot space. I'm gonna bring I'm gonna have my wall books, obviously, like a lot of this kind, well, higher grade than this kind of stuff, like higher price stuff. But then I'm also bringing probably around 75 short boxes and all $2 filler issues, all bagged, boarded, alphabetical order, numerical. So if you're looking to fill runs, it's gonna be real easy.
So, Manimal, the dates, it's in August.
August, I think it's August 17, 18, 19.
It's not Pittsburgh. It's the Connecticut,
no,
right?
It's Connecticut. Yeah, it's Mohegan Sun, Connecticut. Mohegan Sun, the casino. That's Terrificon.
So I'm sorry, what were the dates?
I think it's August 17, 18, 19. I think.
So
if
we could try to go out and maybe not even take a day off and just try to hit a weekend run.
Flying to Hartford or Boston, I would suggest.
17 is Friday, 18 and 19 Saturday.
Yeah, it's a 3-day show. It's a 3-day show. The first day is 3 to 9.
I think it would be worth it just to go have beers with Forgerelli. That's our man in the chat.
I'll come out. Yeah, see, Forgerelli, no, 17 to 19. Yeah, dude, the guest list is insane.
So
really good.
Gary will give us a little corner so we could do a live stream. We could have a little headquarters in the con, and maybe we just got to help you move a couple boxes here and there, right?
Please, yeah. I only have 75 shorts. I have a hand truck, but it only holds 12 at a time.
Terrificon. So Gemini's, I'm down. It's on Manimal because he's the holdout every time now. This guy.
Yeah, come on, Manimal, man up, get your ass out here. I want to see McGregor in person.
Yeah, exactly, right. All right, cool, man. So did we forget anything? I think we touched on all the things.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I got nothing else for you. Oh, go ahead.
My man, Harsh Life Comics. He just friend requested you on IG. He's a local El Paso dude, so take care of him. Yeah. Very Gary knows how to push these books, man. Yes, cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, you have any last words for the Geminites?
Not really, man. It's been fun. I want to do this again. Hopefully, I could find this was manageable. A small 200 book collection. If I roll up with 30 short boxes, we're not going to do that. That just seems a little.
I tell you what, I would love to fucking flip through some of those and try to pick out the keys with you. That shit is like.
Well, that's fun. Again, that is it's like a modern day gold digging. It's just treasure hunting. It's fun, man. It's fun. I have a ton of stories. So we'll definitely do this again sometime.
Well, no, for sure. I'm with it. All right, cool. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, Gary, for making time for me. I know you had to put the baby to sleep and everything. Gemmin Friends. I was going to call it episode 1, but I didn't do it because Gemmin Collectibles Live is its own thing. And this is just going to be like different subject matter titles. So this is Buying Collections with Very Gary. Thanks for y'all for tuning in, and catch you guys next time. Peace.